So today is International Working Women's Day. Before we get into the main part of today's assembly, I'm going to talk a little bit about the impact of capitalism on women of our class. Today is a day to remember the historic uprisings of women workers who marched in the thousands demanding bread and roses. At the South Vancouver Neighbourhood Assembly, we will continue this fight to take back what is ours from the capitalist exploitative clause. We know that the world would fall apart without the contributions of working class women. Today in Canada, the majority of women actually are in the workforce. 85% of women are working. But if you look at the GDP, this is the gross domestic product. It's a measure of the value of goods and services and industry contributes to the economy. So if you look at the GDP, women contribute way less. Only 29% of the GDP is attributable to women compared to 49% of men. That's only half. So while we're now in the workforce, we still see a gender division of labor happening. Capitalists want us to believe that women belong in low-wage industries, such as domestic work and the service sector, so they can increase their profits and lower production costs. Capitalist logic says that women's labor is only worth 89 cents to a man's dollar. But it's not because we're weak or because we're raising kids. It's because the capitalists need to maintain low-wage sectors and attribute these to women's work so that they can make more profit off of us. So you see that imperialism, this is the economic system that we're in, feeds off the exploitation of women workers. One example is the Temporary Foreign Workers Program, which ensures the ruling class have access to cheap labor, locking women migrant workers into exploitative relationships with their employers as nannies, cleaners, care workers, and piecemeal below minimum wage agricultural work. On this International Working Women's Day, join United in Struggle and the South Vancouver Neighbourhood Assembly in recognizing and continuing the history of women struggling for dignity and justice inside and outside of the workplace. We all have a role to play in fighting for equality and liberation. We know we must fight for worker control of the economy because real equality will only come with an end to exploitation and oppression. We know that the capitalists won't give us this without a fight. They will continue to find ways to keep wages low and segregate women and migrants generally into the extremes of economic exploitation. Only with working class democracy will we see true and radical inclusion into all areas of economic and political life.